are live. There we go, guys. This is going to be good. So, my name's Tyler Mulvaney, and I'm joined tonight with Nolan Owings and Mike Nepper, and we are talking about Niners camp at Oil Belt. And so, if you have any questions along the way, throw them in the comments. Niners camp is for students entering ninth grade this summer at Oil Belt. So, if your student is going to be a freshman, a ninth grader this fall, sign them up to come to Niners camp. That's what we're going to be talking about. The dates for Niners this year are July 16th through the 21st. July 16th through the 21st. And we are talking about Niners camp. So I'm going to introduce these guys, Nolan and Mike, and let them tell us a little bit about themselves. So, Nolan, you're on top of the screen, so let's have you go first. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your camp experience.
I'm probably the new guy to the area. I've only been in this area for about 3 years now. I'm the minister at West Village Christian Church in Albion. I grew up in northern Missouri, going to a lot different camp, but still pretty similar. If you guys know what it's like to go to a camp that still has no air conditioning, that's what I grew up going to. I hear Oil Belt used to be that way, but it's a little fancier now. And other than that, I've been to a lot of different places over the years and just enjoyed being with the kids anywhere and everywhere that I can be. And always excited to go back again. So I can't wait to see anybody that I get to meet this year.
That's right. That's right. All right, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're pretty new to camp too, aren't you?
I'm pretty new to camp. Yeah, I started on faculty back in 1978, and I was just a little baby, but they let me be on. No, long time ago. This I figured it up, and I think this is my 26th year as dean at Oil Belt. Probably predominantly as Niners and also Deeper Life. Both of those have probably been my top heavy weeks. And I'm really excited to working with Nolan. We seem to communicate well together. We think some alike. I like his idea about camp. It's supposed to be a camp, and we talked about that. We talked about some of the things that he's done in the past, such as going out to Colorado and camping in the mountains. And he's told me about some of the things there. I would like to do that sometime. Nolan's going to have to take me though. So, okay. He promise, Nolan?
I promise.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. So, you've got a lot of you've done a lot of camps, and got to see a lot of changed lives. So, as we jump into Niners, if you guys would tell us a little bit about what is Niners, like why is it different than a high school or a junior high week? And Mike, I know you got a lot of experience with that. What is Niners? What is this camp all about?
Well, one of the reasons I think a kid, and I want to talk a little bit to the parents now too, because James Dobson, who hosted Focus on the Family for years, says that the age 14 is the absolute toughest year of a kid's life. And I think one thing we can do as parents is put our kids in the best places possible. And I believe that putting them at Niners Week at Oil Belt would be the best place you can possibly put them this summer, because we are designing a week not only to prepare them for high school or for ninth grade, but prepare them for high school also. One guy we do have this year that I really am excited about is Ryan Cox from Creation Truth. And he's going to be talking about divine identity. You know, the big thing today is identity. What do you identify as? Who do you identify as? Are you a heterosexual or homosexual? Are you identifying as a man or a woman or a boy or a girl or even an animal? And Ryan's going to hit that head on. And he's going to talk about what happens when my friends at school want to talk to me about that. What am I supposed to say to them? And I'm excited for the fact that he said, I don't have a class on that yet. I don't have a study on that, but I want to, and I've already been working on it. Would you let me teach it? And we said, sure. Go ahead and talk. I need a drink. Go ahead and talk, Nolan.
Well, on top of that, our tentative idea at the moment, now things change, but um, one of the themes, the big theme of camp this year is Jesus is. And I think we're going to take it in a direction of looking at the I am statements of John, seeing what Jesus says about himself, and talking about the fact that placing Jesus in the place that he deserves will help set these students up not just for freshman year of high school, but the rest of their lives. That if we can instill in him the knowledge that Jesus is all that they need because he's the bread of life, that he is the light that illuminates their world, those I am statements of John, that we can do a good job of setting them up not just for now, but forever. So that's kind of the theme that we're aiming for at
Yeah,
the moment.
that sounds great.
Another
So,
thing, Tyler.
oh
Another
yeah,
thing.
go ahead.
I want to say one other thing before we get to another question. Another reason I'm excited about Niners Week is because just yesterday, Shannon Bob from Broken Chains Ministry with Josh Conley, but Shannon's going to be doing it, confirmed that he's going to be there to do the missions for the week.
Awesome.
And I'm excited about that for a couple of reasons. Number one, Broken Chains ministers to the people in Costa Rica, and a lot of the people that they're ministering to are those that have been sexually trafficked at a very young age,
Mhm.
probably younger than some of these Niners campers. So Shannon and Josh go down there quite a few times during the year. But
Mhm.
the really what I'm excited about with Shannon is he realizes that not only do you need to help these girls and sometimes guys out of these things that they've been chained to. But
Mhm.
he says, we're not really helping them unless we're preaching and teaching them the gospel.
Mhm.
So there you go. I'm excited about Shannon Bob coming. So
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to
I
let you know
mean,
that.
already if Ryan Cox and Shannon Bopp and Josh Conley are going to be there, you've got a pretty strong faculty.
Well, Josh
Just
doesn't
in
know
those
he's
guys
coming
coming by.
yet,
Hey, hey, there
and
we
he
go.
might not be. But if he does, anytime he shows up, I would be glad to have him because he's
Oh,
he's a
exactly.
plus. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a great team down there, great mission. So, all right. So, talked a little bit about Niners. What's some other things we're looking for? What's a schedule look like for Niners? I mean, what's it? Is it a little different than regular camp, or is it what do you do at Niners?
You want to take that, Nolan? Or you want me to?
Well, I can take it for a little bit, and you can fill
Oh,
in.
you can hand it off whenever you get done.
Well, I mean, we eat 3 times a day, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Other than that,
That's
we
good.
are, I mean, unapologetically, we focus in a lot more on classes, giving a lot more instruction, and balanced with fun. So our mornings are a little bit more full of more Bible study, more lesson time. Our afternoons have a lot more recreation and fun, getting the teams together. There'll be some time at the pool. There'll be some time on the courses out in the woods. There's going to be a lot of chances for the kids to just hang out and talk and hopefully build relationships that will help them not just within their own congregations, but outside. They can find other friends beyond just those that they specifically go to church with. I don't know about you guys, but some of those friends that you make at camp that go with you for the rest of your life, that's some of the greatest fun that you can have. And we're hoping that we'll build enough time in there for them to develop those relationships and they
Right.
can move forward.
Can I jump in
And
there?
yeah,
Because
go ahead.
that's one of the things about Niners that I love. So Niners, ninth grade week, it's the only camp that Oil Belt does that is one age group. And so, the target with Niners is we're trying to help these kids, as Mike said at the beginning, go into high school and answer a lot of those questions they're going to be faced with. They have a lot more responsibility when you come from junior high to high school, that starts to get thrust upon you. you're starting to look towards adulthood and what's the next steps for college, for career. You're going to be driving a car soon, and so they start to get all these things on them. And so we're trying to say, hey, before you get into that, um, let's give you a solid foundation in Christ. That's where it's going to start first, to help all these other areas you're going to be going towards. And like Mike said, it is a hard year. And so we're trying to say, hey, you can do this. And here's some good ways to not fall into traps that a lot of high schoolers do. And one of those things you mentioned, Nolan, is because Niners is one grade at camp, those students will get to know each other very well during that 1 week. And so as they go through high school, they're going to have a strong bond of good Christian friends to go to. And some of those will be from their school and some of them won't. And that's what's great about camp is you have all these kids from the area coming together that they're going to have friends to go see and go hang out with outside of camp. And then over the next couple years, as they come to camp, they're going to have that strong friend group of kids their age. We see time and time again, sometimes in youth group, you have a couple kids that are seniors, a couple kids that are juniors. Those seniors leave and the juniors, they're kind of lost because they've lost that half of their friend group. But with Niners, it creates that group of kids their age that they can come back year after year to camp and see. So those are a couple things that I love about Niners, and why I encourage kids to go, because it's not just setting you up for a great year now. It's building the next 4 or 5 years are going to be tremendous for a student and a good click. So anything else you guys would add about just schedule wise or things to look forward to at Niners this year?
Well, a couple things. We're gonna. Nolan said we are gonna unapologetically study the Word, particularly in the morning. We're probably going to try to do a little bit more intensive memorization this year than we've even done in the past, and we're going to do it probably. We're going to let the kids memorize or say the same verse every day. For instance, if they say Galatians 2:20 on Monday, they can say Galatians 2:20 on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And you know what? By Friday, they're going to take that with them the rest of their life. And so we're gonna concentrate on some verses that they can take with them, not just at the end of camp, but for the rest of their life. I can still remember Romans 6 that I memorized uh, a long time ago at church camp. So you got to remember. The second thing that we do that's kind of unique to a lot of weeks is we have the faculty. A lot of them, not all of them, is going to be able to do it this year because we have so many faculty. But a lot of faculty will give their testimony from the standpoint of God is using me; He can use you too. And the point of that is, most of us faculty don't feel like we're really special. We're not the five talent person mentioned maybe in Matthew 25, maybe more like the two talent or the one talent. And we might not be that special, that person that just sticks out of the crowd. But nevertheless, God can use us, and He has. And if God can use us, He can use you too. And we've done this in the past, and that's sometimes that has been one of the highlights of the whole week of how
Yeah.
people can see, hey, one guy told me, he said, Mike, if you can be a preacher, I decided I could be too, because if God could use you, He could certainly use me. And I think he was trying to insult me, but I took it as a compliment. So there you go. I
That is
was
awesome.
grateful, but we've got some other faculty. I do want to mention Nolan. I think I'm going to mention your wife Whitney. She's coming, right?
I think so. I hope so.
I hope so too. Whitney is very talented musically, and she did a very good job on her testimony last year too.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we also have Mark Richardson. I always like to have Mark at camp. He's a good teacher, preacher, and he brings just a little bit of sarcasm to the plate. That sometimes it's fun to listen to. Of course, John O'Schnautz, one of my favorite people in all the world. Dale Ginder, Brett and Amanda Leslie from Central Church, great people, great couple. Mark White Hey, we have a Mark White sighting. Is going to be at Oil Belt for Niners Week, of course,
Getting Whitey at
and
camp. I'm excited about that.
we're talking Brian Heinrich. Let's mention that name one more time. Brian Heinrich from
Uh-oh, you broke
Oil
up a
Belt.
little bit. You broke up. Do it one
Brian
more time.
Heinrich. Brian Heinrich. Did you
Yes,
get that? Okay.
I got it.
And
Brian Heinrich.
I'll let I'm going to mention a couple more, then I'll let Nolan tell you about the special guy that I don't know that he does from his church, Will. So I'm going to talk about. We've also got Quentin Mullinex from
Mhm.
Antioch, a senior in high school, and Taylor Sursa, a senior in high school from Antioch. My wife Vicky, Penny Penny Arnold is going to be there. Heather
Nice.
Mulvaney. We know all those
Oh,
folks. We're happy to
I
have
know
all of
them.
them.
Oh yeah.
Jenny Frichtel, Amy Whitaker, and Kelsey Keller. That's kind of a new name, but she was a at a lot of camps in her past, and she goes to our church, and I'm looking forward to working with all these people. Good faculty. Will you talk about
Awesome.
Will now? Tell us
I
about him.
will. I'm dragging along a newbie this year. We have just hired a youth minister, Will Kelly. He
Oh
is
yeah.
uh, he's going to be fairly new to this whole camp thing as the new youth minister. So I feel like we need to introduce him well. So
Oh
if
yeah.
he gets to get an egg on his head or have to
Oh,
run
there we
around
go.
I mean, I'm just putting
Every
him out
day. How about
there
every day for
every
that?
day, nominating Will for that.
That sounds good.
So
We can make
it'll
that
be a lot
happen.
of fun. Yes.
And he's what,
That
22 years old? Something
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. He's in his 20s.
early. Yeah, break him
yep.
in right.
That's right.
Yep. So, well, hey, I got a couple things I want to say about Niners too that makes it a special week. It is one of those camps that is a camp that we do while there is another camp going on. So, 3 times this year, we're going to have 2 camps on site at the same time. And so, you guys will be sharing camp with Encounter, which is a 5th and 6th grade camp. And I was talking to the Encounter guys the other day, and we maybe it was Pathfinder too, but as well. But we were talking about how when there's those upper students like the 9th graders, the 5th and 6th grade Encounter students look up to them so much, and it gives the Niners the opportunity to show some leadership and to show some love to some of those younger kids when you see them in the lunch lines and those types of things, because you don't interact very much. There's a lot, we keep you pretty separated, but there's a few times at lunch, at food lines, or in passing, those kids get to see and interact with them. And I think that's a cool opportunity to show some leadership, that those kids look up to it. It provides some fun programming challenges as we are working through multiple people at the same time. But that is a cool dynamic. So, anything you guys want to share about how there's 2 camps at one time during the Niners camp?
Well, we had a couple of hiccups last year, and it
Hmm.
was on both our sides. I made a mistake, and Ben made we had a little scheduling snafus and everything like that. But I think we're with Alex Foltz this year.
Hmm.
And we're looking forward to working with Alex. And he was at that particular week last year, so he kind
Right.
of knows the ropes, and he's going to be, I believe, really easy to work with. One thing I will tell you about Ben Strode was the dean last year, and I think he moved to Missouri to preach out there,
Mhm.
and he really wanted for things to go well our week, and we really wanted for things
Mhm.
to go well his week. So we're going to work hard to help Alex have a great week, and I'm sure he's going to work hard to help us have a great week. And we will
Mhm.
try our best not to step on each other's toes or anything like that. But it was really hot last year, and but we were able to work through things really well,
Yep.
and we're just going to be able to have camp.
Yep. And the other thing about Niners that goes on is because of that, you guys have limited capacity. There's 50 boys and 50 girls. And so we want students to sign up as soon as possible, just so space doesn't run out. So just so you guys know, right now you've got 12 boys and 26 girls for a total of 38 campers right now. So, we're almost to half capacity for you guys. So that's pretty cool.
So we need 62 to sign up by tomorrow, right?
That's
Exactly.
right. Right. That is
Okay.
correct. That
Yeah.
is correct.
My
So, hey,
mathematical mind. Yeah, there we
anything
go.
else you guys want to throw out about why to come to Niners Week, or anything that we haven't hit on that people should know, or give updates about Niners?
I was dean of the very first Niners week back in a long time ago. And it was really a jump of faith because why in the world would you have a camp for just one grade of kids?
Mhm.
But there was such a need. And I will say this about Niners, it was founded to meet a need, and it's been found to meet that need. And
Mhm.
so I would tell you kids, I would tell your parents, please parents, could be the best week of the summer. We
Mhm.
tell your kids some of the things they need to know for high school. I'll just give you one. Sometimes you learn it. Sometimes kids, you need to know that the hot guys aren't quite so hot. We do it with a little smile on our face, but we try to tell them, hey, you just need to learn some things, and we're
Mhm.
going to tell them just little one-liners like that all throughout the week that maybe they could write down and take home with them. So there you go.
Right. Anything for you, Nolan?
I'll just say last year, our daughter, our oldest, was a ninth grader. It's really our first year
Mhm.
after we moved here that camp operated normally. And that was really her first full camp experience since we moved. And getting to see her go through the program, seeing how she has handled high school, just tells me how important this specific week is
That's cool.
for students. So, for anybody that's listening, I just hope that you'll consider sending your kid to this week of camp to get them ready for the next 4 years and longer.
Right. So
And
I was high. Yeah, go
I feel
ahead.
like we're going to have a even better week than we had last year. We're
Hmm.
kind of another year past the COVID thing.
Mhm.
And we're more ready to go. I believe Nolan and I are more ready to go, and
Hmm.
we're fired up. And I really love Tyler. I think you might have chosen it. The theme,
Yeah.
Jesus is. That's a
Yep.
wonderful theme.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It seems to have gone well. Last year with Love God's Word, and this year with Jesus is as our themes. I've noticed a lot of deans latch onto that. It's not something they've done every year where they go, "Hey, I want to do that theme," but about every campus said, "Let's do that. That sounds good." So that's been neat. So as we close, one thing that I love about Niners camp, I was high school dean a couple years, and usually towards the end of that week, I would get the graduating seniors who came to camp a bunch, the kids who come, multiple times growing up, and ask them, "Hey, let's eat lunch together." And I just want to pick your brain about, as you go out, just some things. And so one of the questions I asked was, how did camp play an impact in your life? What was your favorite camp? And that was before I was even on staff. It was just something I love to hear kids tell camp stories, and where God moved at camp for them. And I can honestly say 8 out of 10 students would say Niners. If they attended Niners, it was their favorite camp that they ever attended. So I just got to say, this camp is so life changing and impactful. If you have a student entering ninth grade, get them to Niners. Again, it's July 16th through the 21st. You register at oilbelt.com, and your kid will be forever changed because of this camp, because it is just such an impactful week. So, Mike and Nolan, I appreciate you guys' time. Let's go cheer for UConn or San Diego State now. Thanks for doing this a little bit early. Who's your choice? Are you guys care, or are you watching
UConn.
I mean,
UConn?
I like the underdog. I'll be honest.
Which one's that? The San Diego State
I'll
Yeah.
or
I'll go
the
for
UConn?
San Diego State just for the
Okay.
fun of it.
Okay. I think it's going to be a great time. I'm going to have a good time watching it. So
Yeah.
thank you guys. You have a great night, and we'll see
Thank
you
you,
at camp.
Tyler.
And
Good to see you, Nolan.
Yep.
yep. See you guys. Have a great
Yeah.
one.